So I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years now. I've done it all. I've done short and I've done long form. And I've also not only monetized my own channels, but I've helped student channels like this one that you're looking at right now blow up to some crazy numbers where we're having videos in really good high RPM niches doing 2.4 million views. And I've been getting this question, especially from people that are considering online side hustles to do. And obviously there are things like dropshipping, SMMA, and like all these like digital products now and all these side hustles. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, YouTube automation is the best one. It's just the one that ever worked for me. I have done dropshipping in the past, but when I had a full-time job, when I didn't really have the time and I was still doing YouTube, it was YouTube that ended up paying me. So as you can see, there's another YouTube channel that we started recently. The very first video, this is not a pre-monetized account, so most of this wasn't even monetized because RPM is so good. They still managed to make over 900 USD from this one video alone, and other videos we're posting from there is also earning from there, as you can see. So yeah, you can have absolutely banger moments like that where your hard work actually gets rewarded early on, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because you can look at this channel that you're looking at right here. We've been posting every single day for like the last 90 days pretty much, and like we've only made 2.8k from this, right? So in this video, my goal is essentially for those specific contingent of people that probably don't have much time, they're working full time, and they want to really know what side hustles can they actually do. Now there's a bunch out there that you could do, right? I'm not saying that you must do YouTube automation. This is just what I know. It's what I've done. It's the only thing I've done. So I can't now sit here and like compare with all these ones and I'll say, come do this one. But I would say because of the advancements nowadays with AI and everything that's like coming out recently, it's become a lot more viable, especially for beginners that don't have much time on their hands. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is to show you how to not get into the freelancer trap, and essentially how I would go from zero right now to monetizing a new channel to potentially scaling it to 10k a month and to have it be a really good profitable income alongside whatever job that I'm working, etc., etc. So that's what this is going to go ahead and be about. So it might be long. I don't know how long it might be, but I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm just going to pull the curtains down. This is exactly what I will do, and this is what we do when we help our clients monetize new channels. Some of them that are already busy and don't have the time, this is how we kind of work around their schedules. So this is exactly how you would go to zero to making potentially 5k a month, 10k a month, whatever. This is not an income disclaimer. Again, we have a bunch of students that come in and they really don't even post the videos, and obviously they don't work hard. They're not going to get the results, right? So it depends entirely on you, on the kind of character that you have. If you're someone that actually want this to happen for you, it depends on your work ethic. It depends on a lot of things. I'm not sitting here saying you're going to click a bunch of buttons, you're going to make 10k a month. That's not how it works. But for those people that actually know that YouTube is a good opportunity and want to get started, this is how you do it. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is to get our tool stack ready. So the goal of this is there's something called like high leverage tasks. Obviously, you'll know what this is, and low leverage tasks. Okay. So in any business, whatever it is you're doing, there's going to be those to-do lists that you'd have that when you do them, this is what actually moves the business forward. This is what actually ends up on making you more revenue. And there's low leverage tasks, and these are essentially the ones that you'd want to outsource or whatever, like for example cleaning the office or something like random like that. Well, it's the same when you come over to YouTube, right? So all the strategies I'm going to be talking about to like get there as fast as possible is going to be you essentially focusing as much as possible your inputs on the high leverage tasks, and kind of outsource either to a cheap freelancer or to an AI tool as much as possible the low leverage tasks. And this is what's going to allow you to have the mental bandwidth and to be able to actually ideate and like push the channel forward. So the first thing you want to go ahead and do is to get your tool stack, right? Your tool stack. So when I say tool stack, essentially, so when it comes to YouTube automation, right, let's break it down. What are the things that you're going to need to start this business, right? So if we go ahead and go over to YouTube, and by the way, I forgot to say, we've also blown up channels in front of you guys multiple times. So if you want to go learn from those videos, that's also solid. But if you come over to YouTube right now and you go to any niche that you can see right here, so let's break it down, right? Because channels like this, some of them are making tens of thousands of dollars, right? So let's break it down. So what do you need? You need the thumbnail, obviously. It's very important. So you're going to need the thumbnail. You're going to need the video. You're going to go ahead and need the idea of the video. And you're going to go ahead and need the niche selection. So what niche you're going to do, because essentially how YouTube automation works, it's not like they're going to be showing your faces in these videos. And none of those channels that I showed you earlier, are we actually showing our faces in the videos, or are we even making the videos? And I'm going to go into that slightly later. So essentially, so moving on, you need your tool stack for all these things. So let me go ahead and tell you all the tools that are non-negotiables that you need to get if you really want to do YouTube automation and not spend months and months trying to figure things out like manually, and which is going to be really hard for beginners, especially if you don't have the time. So you want to go ahead and get Nextlev. So Nextlev. So Next Level is a niche finder tool. Essentially, its database on YouTube is extremely heavy. So if you come here, go to like this channel right here, you can see this channel is like blowing up with your very first video. As you can see, 10 days ago, 401k views. If this channel was monetized, it's probably made about like at least 1.5k from this video if it was like monetized, 1k to 1.5k. Right. So with Next Level, you essentially have all this data of channels on YouTube that are starting extremely recently. You can see this one's not even 1,000 subs yet, and you can see it's getting pretty consistent views. So with Next Level, you can do very important things like being able to sort for RPMs. RPMs is how much you get paid per 1,000 views. So let's say your RPM for this niche was say $5 or $6. You'd be making it anywhere from like $60 per 10,000 views, for example, to like 80 USD. Sometimes it fluctuates, but you can see if you have a video that hits 100,000 views, right? That's 700,000 subscribers, and it's not 700,000. What am I saying? 700 USD. But and the funny thing is, it's not as hard as you may think to like get these views because it's not just coming from me. You can look at what's happening right now. You can see so many channels that are starting recently, right? 11 days ago, 10 days ago, 9 days ago, that are all getting views. So it's extremely important that you get Next Level so you kind of understand what's happening in the market, and for you to also understand that a lot of people are succeeding, right? So you kind of need that to understand there's so many proof of concepts that you can actually do this. But another thing I want to preface with that as well is the thing with Next Level is, right? The thing with like niches in general is, of course, there's a lot of people winning. Of course there are, but there are also a lot of people losing, right? And the people losing, you will not see them here, right? It's kind of like that experiment. What was the name of that experiment again? Where like during the war, like planes that have their wings like shot and stuff, where the wings like have bullet holes and they will try to reinforce the wing parts. But obviously, that wasn't the thing to do because the planes that actually didn't survive, they make it, right? So, but you can search that up. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is you don't see the failures here. You're kind of biased a little bit. So you don't see what channels have tried to copy these and fail. And the reason that's happening is something called ideation, which we're going to go into a little bit. But we want to go ahead and get like Next Level. It's like 36 euro now. Next Level, really important. So the next thing you want to go ahead and think about is how you're going to make your videos, right? Very important, obviously. And this is where we go back to this phenomenon that I was talking about earlier, which is low leverage tasks. So what of this are like falling in the range of like high leverage tasks and low leverage tasks? So if you're talking about videos, so video editing, it literally goes here. It goes here. You don't want to be doing video editing right now, especially since you don't have the time. You absolutely want to automate this. Thumbnail as well. We're gonna go into a little bit. I thought this was niche. Why did I match this to thumbnail? Interesting. Anyway, that was for niche selection. Sorry about that. So for videos, this is a low leverage task. Thumbnail, also a low leverage task. Extremely low leverage. You want to automate this. Have an AI do it, or hire a freelancer. That's just how it's gonna have to be. You have to do this because we're gonna get into it a little bit, but you have to absolutely not do tasks in this low leverage bucket. Now for the thumbnail, obviously also low leverage, we're gonna go ahead and automate this. So what we use for thumbnails is something called Higgsfield. So as you can see, even for my own thumbnails here, it's all made by Higgsfield. For some niches I went through, also all made by Higgsfield. It's extremely easy to make these thumbnails. I use Nano Banana Pro, as you can see right here. Now, very important. So you can use Higgsfield or you can use like Google Flow, but make sure you're using Nano Banana Pro. So let's go ahead and put that down as Higgsfield. Again, this is low leverage, so we want this automated low leverage again. Very important. Now let's move on to the videos. This is also something that you cannot do. Extremely low leverage, like I've said earlier. So the thing is, with AI nowadays, you can actually automate most of the niches you can enter. Another thing is if you can hire really well, you can try to hire from Fiverr or like Upwork, but if you hire really well, depend on the niche you enter, but the niches we're entering, because there's a certain phase that we're using to enter these niches, which I'm going to go into a little bit, but the kind of niches that we're entering, even if we kind of have competitors, the stages that we're entering is allowing us to like kind of have first movers advantage. And for this reason, niches that have lower entry barriers, like you don't need to know animating, using AI to prompt a lot of like complex stuff. So niches that is just traditional video editing niches like B-rolls, A-rolls, and stuff like that, we can enter these niches and still outcompete a lot of people, right? So for the niches that we're entering, and I would also suggest you enter just plain niches that have, that you can just edit videos for, but you have to compete kind of with speed, which is why you also have to make sure you are automating this part. So for this, you could use VidRush. It's called VidRush. But the problem with VidRush is I think it's slightly expensive. So we in-house, we don't use VidRush. If you go to the VidRush page right here, as you can see, again, I don't have an affiliate for this. This is simply what I'd suggest. Yeah, so you can get VidRush. There's a lot of niches that it can do really well, and there's also a lot of niches that it still cannot do. But for most niches, you can get VidRush. Only problem is it's a little bit pricey, right? And the reason that we're not using VidRush is because we do a lot of volume strategy. Like I showed you that channel that we've been posting for like months, right? And channels we post for months and then blows up quickly. But volume is a part of this. That's why I also say you must not edit. But the AI tool that we use is a lot cheaper than this. Unfortunately, I can't share it in this video because then it's like closed off. It's not really public yet. So yeah, I can't really review that. And by the way, if you want us to like come in and help you do this, find a niche for you, help you with video ideas, and like give you, the guidance you need to essentially start YouTube automation properly, like we've done with a ton of students here. There's also a bunch of testimonials over at headsetchannels.com you can go look at. For people, only people that really, can't, that really want to do YouTube automation, but they can't. If you have the time, by all means, do it yourself. But for those people that think this is a good opportunity, but they can't really do it because they just don't have the time, those are the people that we're working with. And we have about 2 spots left this month. So if you think that's you, go ahead and apply. If not, that's completely fine. Let's go back to the video. So now VidRush, you can use VidRush, or you can hire a video editor. So you can hire from Fiverr, Upwork. You can also hire from places like Telegram. You can hire from Discord, and all these places, right? Your goal is to keep your production costs down. If you can get it down to like $10 a video, that would be really, really good. So for example, this is the tool that we use. This video that you're looking at right here, we have a 12-minute version of it. And as you can see, it finds all the B-rolls, edits the videos. There's also some animations in the videos. As you can see, if we keep going, covers everything it needs to cover. And as you can see, does everything. And this video, about 12 minutes, 12-minute video, it's averaging at $12 to $14 a video, which is really good, which is about like a minute per dollar per video like this. Really solid. So you'd go ahead and use something like VidRush for that. Yeah, something like VidRush, or like hire cheaply from other places, like Fiverr, Upwork, all these places. But you need to think about this before you start your YouTube automation journey. It's incredibly important. This is why we help you do this as well. We install teams for you that'll be making the videos, because these are not the things that you want to spend your time on, right? So if you want us to help you do this, 2 spots left. Again, I can't overstate that. We keep it very limited because we really want to help you do the thing that you want to do that you can't actually do. Now, the reason I left this for last is because this is arguably one of the most important phases of this whole thing, right? So whatever, let's say you're already doing YouTube automation and you've tried it before. If you failed for any reason, it's because of ideation. I promise you. Even if you're in like a shit niche, obviously if it's not like so bad that nobody knows about this niche, but even if you're in the most like obscure niche as possible, if you have tried it and it failed, you didn't really succeed, whatever it was probably because of ideation. Your ideas just does not resonate with what the market wants. There's something called crowd wisdom, right? So when you extrapolate, let's say you have an idea, something you think you would really like to watch. There may be 2 or 3 more people that love it. Obviously, there's billions of people on the planet, so there's a lot of people that would love that idea, right? But when it comes to how you package it, when it comes to like YouTube, when it comes to consumption patterns of YouTube, because YouTube has been around for like decades, right? So when it comes to consumption patterns on YouTube, how you would present that idea to get people to click it and get it to watch and get them to stay in the video is completely different, right? So when your idea goes through this pipeline of what actually works on YouTube, it's not going to be your initial idea, right? It has to go through many stages, how you adapt it to actually work on YouTube. We're going to go into this a little bit, but the idea is, what the point I'm trying to make is, even on this channel, or on all our channels that we're doing, I might come up with an idea, sure, but that's not my final post. That's not the idea I post, right? I still have to verify it with YouTube data, YouTube consumption patterns, how it would be presented for people to click and watch, so YouTube pays me and YouTube shows ads in these videos, right? So that's why ideation is very important, and you need to be able to like have the tool to do this, dedicated tool for this. It's also why it's so important. That's why we give you your first 30 days of video ideas to remove potential places where you don't really have the experience, and like, this is where the trial and error works. This is where the trial and error happens. You have to post, fail a little bit, and understand ideas that work, right? So for this, the tool that we use, and I've kind of said this multiple times now, is something called 1 of 10. Extremely important. So let me go ahead and pull it up. So this is how 1 of 10 looks, as you can see right here. So with 1 of 10, you can essentially, there's so much data on it. Whatever niche that you want to do, it's here, right? So essentially, you have all these outliers here. Videos that's performed more than average, they're all here, as you can see, right here. Boom, as you can see. So if you wanted to make a video about anything, let's say you wanted to make how to be productive video, right? To be productive, right? So let's say you have this idea and you wanted to make this video. The mistake newbies would make is to just say, oh, how to be productive. Of course, yes. Who wouldn't want to watch a how to be productive video? But if you don't use YouTube data, you not understand that it's extremely saturated. So many people have thought of that and done it. That's another thing. So to stand out in this like ocean of banner blindness, you have to do something different. And you don't know what to do different until you use YouTube data. So you can just search your ideas here. I also use YouTube for this. You can search your ideas and start to look at like outliers regarding this that actually get views. So you can see videos titled "How to Be Productive" are not getting views. Why? Because so many people have done that and it's not working anymore. But videos titled something like "How to Be So Productive It Feels Illegal," not kind of working. How to be disciplined even if blah blah. I tried the world's simplest productivity trick, you know. So these kind of twists on it is what's like helping it, go ahead and potentially work, right? So you want to get 1 of 10, very important, and you want to spend a lot of time here to come up with video ideas. Like this is what we do for you. We combine the ideation, the experience that we know, and we just sit here and brainstorm your first 30 videos worth of ideas. You need to get 1 of 10, very important. So 1 of 10. So it's about 70 to 80 euro right now, I believe. So 80 euros, I guess. That's pounds, but anyway, we'll just leave it there. So I think that's pretty much all you'd need, to be honest. That's pretty much all you need to like really start this. This is the starter pack for like someone that doesn't have time, but you also don't want to slack. You also want to do it in a way that can potentially pay you and like reach that 10K month barrier. So this is the two stack that you'd go ahead and need, right? So after you've hired your editors, your AI editors, whatever it is that you're going to be using, let's go ahead and cover something else that you potentially face when you're starting your own YouTube automation channel, right? And that thing is going to go ahead and be your trust score, right? So trust score, let's go ahead and type this out. So what is your trust score? So unfortunately, because there's so much like bots on YouTube and people trying to gamify the algorithm so many times, like people trying to like use bots to artificially inflate the views they're getting, or to use bots to monetize new channels so that they'll sell them over and over to make a business out of that. Or for example, another bot application, this is educational purposes only, is let's say you have an online store. Let's say you have a store that sells, I don't know, shoes, women's shoes, whatever, right? And people were to search on YouTube the best women's shoes to buy, right? If your videos were the first videos to show up on that search bar, you'd make a lot of money organically. So what people with bots are trying to do, and like so one of the multiple ways they're trying to kind of gamify the algorithm is to use bots and make it so that whenever people search that, your videos are the ones that show up, right? So they use bots to watch your videos so that your videos show up. So many ways that people try to gamify the algorithm, and YouTube knows this, and they're constantly trying to crack down on it. Again, there's so many more ways than that I'm not gonna get into because I don't want this video flagged. But there's so many ways. But the point is, right, YouTube has to fight against this because if YouTube don't have principles in place, and this is possible for these bad actors to do, then it becomes unfair for everyone else, right? It becomes threatening because fair creators are going to be like, oh, it's not fair anymore. It's not a fair playing field. And they'll either join them or they'll probably try to find a competitor to YouTube that, they'll move to. But let's be honest, there's no valid competitor to YouTube. So you'd probably just go broke if you try to find competitors. And they know that. That's why they keep fucking you over by giving you policies that are like crazy, like doubling the monetization thresholds, etc. But anyway, so for this reason, YouTube is constantly trying to crack down on bots. So long story short, there became like a list of things that you can use to try to predict if an account is a bot account or not. One of those things, most of the times, if you have nothing else on these accounts and you wanted to guess, it's just going to be an account that got created instantly. Like, let's say the account got created today, right? And instantly they started making videos or watching very specific viewing patterns, or or trying to like a bunch of videos at once, all these things, or even posting videos, all these things, right? So if patterns like this is associated to an account, because this is not normal viewer behavior. Normal viewer behavior of people joining YouTube might be they create their account, maybe they search a video their friend sent them, and they leave and then they come back. It's just this is not organic viewing pattern. So YouTube will obviously try to flag this. So for this reason, to be safe, on average, do not just create a new account and say, I'm going to start posting. So do not create a new Gmail or a new YouTube account right now and just say, oh, I'm going to start posting. So don't do this one. So long story short, so we don't spend too long here, so we can actually go and find a niche and like start talking about video ideation. Long story short, get an aged account. So get an account that's like aged. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video because it's YouTube might not like that. So go and do your own research, find a way to get an age account. This is as close as you can come to like TrustScore. But again, if you're working with us, we provide you with these channels so you can just log in and like, not have anything to worry about in terms of this. But research into age accounts, get one. That's all you need from me. I don't really want you to go and start researching or try to attribute your failure to, oh, I don't have good TrustScore. That's just not true. This is not that big of a problem. All you have to do is to just not create a new account and use that. On average, that's just not what you want to do. You might as well just get an age account, research into that, get one, and that's pretty much it. So this will help you to stay out of what they call the zero view jail. So the zero view jail is when you like spend a lot of time making a video, you post it, and it gets 0 views for like the first 2 days, 3 days, etc., etc. If you're still not getting views, then obviously that's bad. So that's something that you want to go ahead and look at. Another thing that you also want to do to prevent you from this 0 views thing is thumbnails. So make sure your thumbnails is not like too clickbaity. Don't try to use thumbnails that are like too revealing in terms of like, I don't know why this is on my home feed. Guys, I don't watch ASMR, but anyway. So if this was your home feed, for example, because this is not mine, obviously. Come on now. Anyway, so let's say this was your channel and you were to make a thumbnail. As a new channel, you don't want to use thumbnails that are like, obviously too exposing. So if we were to download this thumbnail right now and were to go ahead and go to cloud.google.com/vision. If you want to go ahead and scroll all the way down, come here, drag and drop the thumbnail. This is what I always do on on my new channels I'm entering. If I feel like I'm not so sure of that thumbnail, just go ahead and use this Google website, use their Google Vision model to analyze your thumbnail to make sure that you cannot be shadow banned. Because sometimes people just mess up because they don't really know, and they like use thumbnails that are like too graphic, too much gore, too revealing, etc., etc., and YouTube will just shadow ban that video. Like there's no reason to push it, right? Because it's just like not allowed on the platform. So you can analyze a bunch of things here: labels, vision cam, properties, safe search. But if this is one we actually want to look at. So you want these to be as low as possible, very unlikely. If it's halfway through, that's fine. So I'm talking about all of this. But as you can see, racy means to exposing, right? So as you can see, it's literally 4 out of 5 bars, and you don't want this. This is high potential for your video to be like restricted. Not restricted, but like the reach to be restricted and limited. And YouTube is not going to tell you, oh, look, we're limiting your video because blah, blah, blah. YouTube tries as much as possible to not tell you why nothing is working, right? So that's why YouTube requires so much experience to be operating at a level where you're like consistently profitable. That's the thing with YouTube, because they will not give you that feedback that you need. That feedback that you need to get views, they won't give it to you. Because if they gave that to you, it'll become extremely even more competitive because everyone has access to the same information now. So how do you truly outcompete one another? You don't. So now the moat is truly just experience and failing a lot that you're learning some things along the way. So yeah, very important. Another tool that you'd also want to use, this one's completely free by the way, is this thing called thumbsup.tv. So I use this for like my thumbnails. You can use whatever title you want to use here. You type out your titles here and you can see how it will look in any video. The 2-hour productivity hack randomly discovered. So whatever you use here, you can like go ahead, and I always like to look at the mobile aspect ratio view here because most of my viewers are on mobile. Probably your niche too. So you can see how it looks. If your title is too long that it's kind of clipping off, it's not ideal. You want to remove that. But yeah, very important. That's thumbsup.tv. So thumbsup.tv. Go ahead and save that as well. So thumbsup.tv, I believe. Yeah. Boom. So this, when I combine all those things I've talked about to ensure that you're not stuck in this jail. So once you've done all that, anything TrustScore related, that's all you have to do. Please, I see a lot of beginners making this mistake. They think that YouTube hates them and they try to attribute everything to TrustScore because we're humans. We want explanations for everything. But sometimes YouTube doesn't give you that. So a lot of people make the mistake of trying to attribute it to something that they cannot control instead of attributing it to the things that you can control. And the things that you can control is what I've listed: ideation, thumbnail, niche, packaging, title, all these things. Those are the things that actually affect it. That's your playing cards. This one, just make sure you're not making beginner mistakes and you're pretty much set here. Stop thinking about this. Just let it be. You're done here now, right? Once you've done all the things and ensure you're doing the things I just talked about. So now the next thing you have to worry about, another most important phase, is going to be niche selection. So I'm going to go through the checklist that we use, some of the checklists we use for when we're entering these niches. So, and obviously you got Nextlev for this, so you're going to be using Nextlev. So let's go ahead and open Nextlev here. So for next level, when you're scrolling through and finding niches, I don't want you to find a niche from here ever. Never find a niche from here or AI recommendations. Why? Because that's what everybody's doing, right? So common mistakes for niche selection: never find a niche from YouTube and do that. So you never want to search or something like best YouTube niches to do. Never do that. Any niche that appears in any of these videos is now in saturation phase. Please take my word for it. We've tested everything that you can think of. So we've made so many videos that failed, so we can kind of know, okay, because of this experience, don't do this. Do not find niches from these videos and do them. I guarantee you this, because everyone has seen it. It's entering saturation phase. Do not do it. Just don't do it. What you want to know is to know how to fish so you can get your own fish. Anyway, so you want to use this checklist, the checklist we use all the time. When you come to next level, you want to make sure that your views are getting consistent views recently. So, for example, a bad niche to enter. I'm trying to give you an example of a bad niche. Let's see what we can find. What can we find? Okay, let's say this was a niche, right? So it's like, 2 hour, 3 hour long videos of, uh, compilations, I think. So what you want to do here is look at the recent views. By the recent views, I mean this week. So you want to look at how their views are this week. And if sometimes they get like 500 views, and then randomly they get 5K views, 5K views, if it's not consistent, if there's like a very heavy range, that's not ideal. What you want are niches that are getting consistent average views right now. Like, for example, what was that niche that I just showed you? Let me try to pull it up. Come on. Okay, this niche that I just showed you. Very first video, 10 days ago, blew up. Boom, that's really good, proof of concept. But then the very next video completely flopped, right? So this is not ideal anymore, right? So when this happens, it's usually that niches are between saturation phase and like emergence phase, right? If a niche is really untapped and the format that's pulling views is dialed in, the videos are all going to be getting consistent views. Now you may be asking, oh, but how did this get saturated? It's only been 2 videos. That's the thing that happens when you don't do proper research. Because if you do proper research, you understand that this format is all over YouTube right now. And I've talked about this before. How a lot of people try to do the same thing. As you can see, boom, it's like slop right now. So if you didn't know this about YouTube, you think that's the best niche in the world and you'd get into it, but you didn't really do the proper research. Right? That's why we do that for you and we select the niche for you, just like we did for the student right here. Had a full-time job and everything. He wanted to edit the videos. We said, fuck no, you're gonna be hiring a team and you're gonna be paying them to make the videos. And after about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, he hit his first 6K a month, as you can see right here. And funny thing, he still has his full-time job. So make sure the recent videos are still getting consistent views. This one as well. This is also very important. Make sure that you can find competitors. If you can find competitors and they're also succeeding, then that's really good. And obviously this channel would fail this test right now. Because if you were to find competitors for this channel right now, you'd see, oh no, they're kind of failing as well. So this would literally disqualify the niche and save you days and weeks and months, potentially, of wasted effort where you think this niche would pay you, but it's not really going anywhere, right? So you want to try to find at least 2 competitors also doing well. You want to make sure that you cannot find any failing competitors. If they're doing similar quality and failing, that's bad, because if they're like small channels doing similar quality as the thing that you're about to do and not getting views, that's a very bad like red flag. So you don't want to do that, because you are going to be a small channel when you start. So obviously you need all the cards to be in your favor. You need to find strong proof of concepts, right? Again, this is an entry barrier. This one is not required. Again, you want to know if this niche is in its emergent stage. So you want to also understand what niche cycles are. Make sure that niche is not saturated, it's in its emergent stage. It's a long topic to cover in this video, but you can research into that. And you want to make sure the recipe or format is clear and you understand why it's getting views, right? So you can properly ideate. And you want to make sure, obviously, that it's monetizable. So if it's not like mass producible slop, you're pretty good. Like, this channel can be monetized because it's also like transformative with voiceover and stuff like that. The thumbnail is completely different each time, so that would be monetized. But anything that's like just slop, it's just the same thing over and over and over. It's like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. It wouldn't be like monetizable. So to give you an example of what wouldn't be monetizable, so if you open this channel right here, although these are streams, but if you yeah, you can see this channel right here. It's literally the same thing over and over and over and over, same thumbnail. This is mass producible. So stuff like this is literally slop. Don't do it. It's not monetizable, right? Right, so that's how you would do niche selection. And after you do niche selection, take the niche that you finally chose, go over to 1 of 10. Like I said, all your video ideas must come from 1 of 10. You must spend time and learn 1 of 10 if you want to do this yourself. Spend time 1 of 10, learn how it works, etc., etc. Very important. But yeah, that's how I would go ahead and set myself up for success. If I want to get to 10K a month as fast as possible, this is my tool stack. This is going to be how I'm going to set up my trust score. Now, this is also what my mindset is going to be like. My mindset is going to understand that YouTube is an organic platform, right? If you've not played around with something like paid ads, where you pay to like get views, to get traffic, you understand the organic platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and all these places, they react differently, obviously, right? They all have their different algorithms and how they try to like recommend people to you, right? So all you have to do is to know those things that are rewarding so that you can find and study them so you can obviously play in their good favor. So you'd be aligned, mutual interest with these platforms. But it's an organic platform. It will never, most of the times, it will never be consistently higher rewarding. It's never going to be consistently rewarding at a slower time frame than something like paid ads. For example, paid ads, if you pay to get views today, you get views today, right? But organic platforms, because everyone's competing for free, right? You have to kind of outcompete. So it's a zero-sum game, basically. If you get views, it's not because you made the views, it's because you took those views from someone else. It's a zero-sum game. No one can simultaneously watch two videos at once, right? So you're taking that attention from someone else. It's a zero-sum game. But then, learn about the YouTube algorithm as well. Watch a bunch of videos on this channel. That's how you'd go ahead and start off the right possible way. Like there's no other way. I know you like to kind of consume content on this. Maybe you're in your research phase, etc., etc. But another mistake that you make, that I made when I started, is just consuming endless videos, because everyone's advice is going to be different. Everyone has had their own very sophisticated experience with YouTube. So people are going to tell you what their experience, and I'm going to tell you what I've experienced that's worked for me and my students, which is going to be different. So when you try to combine all these different ideas, they're going to be contradicting each other. And for this reason, you don't know what to believe anymore, and you don't know what to actually implement, which is the problem, right? The very best thing that you can do is to have your own experience, or to just choose one coach and listen to him. I'm not saying you can listen to anyone. It doesn't have to be me, right? But listen and implement one strategy. Because if you keep jumping around, it will feel like nothing works anymore. But that's actually because you never gave them enough time to work. So that's how it works. Hopefully you guys learned something, but this is a stack you need. This is how to start. This is it, guys. This is it. So yeah, if you want us to come in and like help you launch your YouTube channel, potentially scale you from 0, 3K, 5K, potentially 10K a month, right? Obviously, if you put in the work, we've done it for several other students here. We've done it for Theo. Let me see if I can find Theo right here. So we've done it for Theo. He started with long form. No, sorry, he started with shorts, but after he did shorts a little bit, now he started doing long form, like AI personal brand videos on around like AI stuff. So he has like 5 channels now. He's posting 100 videos a month, and he's making 43K a month right now. And as you can see, when I was coaching him, so now he's just scaled with content. The last time I talked with him, as you can see, he made 43K. I talked to him recently. He hit 70K a month, and I'm not exaggerating. So it's crazy what you can do with YouTube automation. So yeah, good video, extremely long this one. Hopefully you learned something. See you guys in the next video.